heavy stuff from Lake St. Louis Boulevard out through 61, but it's slow all the way west of Forest Hill, and eastbound still has a jam through the Wright City Rest Area into Wright City. Southbound 55, a little busy at Bates. There's still slow stuff Z most of the way to A. Northbound 55, north of 61 up to 67 is still congested, and westbound 64 is still a backup midway in from Damiensville to New Baden due to road work. Cardinals FanDuel Sports Network is your TV and streaming home of the Cardinals. Subscribe directly to FanDuel Sports Network and stream the Cardinals or watch through your TV provider. Visit FanDuelSportsNetwork.com for details. Next update at 5:20 from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
News, traffic, and the latest on the Redbirds. This is the Redbird Rush Hour on KMOX.
All right, let's get it going on a Friday on the Redbird Rush Hour. We got Bernie Miklasz, Matt Pauley, Kevin Wheeler with you here. 7:15 start time tonight, which, boys, means we get to do a full show today. That makes me happy. Right. Good full show on a Friday, so we got some good ball to talk. And why don't we lead off with the news from this afternoon, Matt? You're at the ballpark. So was Nolan Arenado today. And he talked about timeline and what the hopes are for him in the final month of the season. And we'll just build off of that.
Yeah, I was in the clubhouse when he met with the media today, and just a quick rundown of what he had to say. He went through the injury situation a bit. He said that it actually started when he jammed his finger, and he had been having a lot of pain, and he started overcompensating for the finger, and then that's what led to the shoulder issue, and he's been working through that. He regrets trying to play through it. He wished that when the finger injury would have occurred, he just would have shut it down right there, let the finger get healthy, and then come back. Then the shoulder thing never would have come.
I'm sorry, Matt. I have to interrupt just for a second, because if you're watching on the stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, if you just saw the looks on Bernie's and my face when you said that, we both just like giggled under our breath and like, oh, so now you guys are starting to figure this out.
So that's what he said. That's I've got the audio. We're going to play it during the Cardinals pregame show, so people will be able to hear it for themselves. He's been down in Jupiter working. It's gone well. He has not faced live pitching yet. He's only worked against the machine. He has turned the velocity on the machine up. He's been trying to face a lot of velocity lately. He's going to spend a couple days here in St. Louis, and his hope is to start a rehab assignment in Springfield either Tuesday or Wednesday. It's going to be the first time he's ever done a rehab assignment since 2014.
Wow.
That's going to be his first time doing that. And his hope is that he plays the week out in Springfield, and then that following Monday, so essentially a week from this Monday, he could be back with the team and would spend the final 2 weeks on the big league roster.
Bern?
Well, sometimes I think maybe it's a long shot, but sometimes I think the media is actually right.
Oh, yeah. Well.
You know, I don't know. I know that I've been talking about this for years because, by the way, it didn't just start with Ollie Marmol.
Oh, no.
It goes back a long time. I don't know what it is about this organization where if a veteran player that's got some equity, got a lot of years in the game, has won some awards, been an all-star, even though it's obvious to everybody that they're hurt and they're ineffective because they're hurt, and they won't shut him down so he can put the injury behind him. The player says, I want to play. Okay. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Whatever you want.
I'm really not sure how many times this has to happen before someone down there, with all due respect, kind of says, you know what? We want you in there, but dude, you can't play right now. You're not very good. And we want you, but that means you have to get this thing healed up. So if it means missing a few days, that's what we're going to do. Is that so hard to do? Apparently it is.
I mean, it's stunning, and it's the same story with Brendan Donovan. If you had just taken the 2 weeks on the injured list for either one of those initial injuries, you might get not only a better version of that player, and in Donovan's case, I would say you definitely would have had a better version of the player. I think it's very clear line in the sand with his numbers this year. The injury hit and his numbers dropped. And with Arenado, it's been a little bit more of a decline in recent years, but I still think you got a better version of him than you did. Right?
All year long, we talked about giving him off days.
Yes.
So whether it's just
but we can't do that. Not allowed.
It all comes from the same place of keeping the body in as good a position possible. And I haven't really seen this mentioned on social media. I wanted to ask some other people if they agreed with me. He looked really trimmed down to me when I was talking to him today. Really? His physical body looked different to me.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That might be good. I mean, because
Yeah.
I've told this story and I'll be very quick. That's what Brant Brown told Albert Pujols when he was with the Dodgers. He said, you're too bulked up. You've been lifting weights too much. You got to get about 10 pounds off you. You'll be able to move your hips better. You'll be quicker to the ball. And Pujols is eternally grateful that Brant Brown set him straight on that.
Yeah.
Maybe Brant Brown can set some people straight about not playing when they're hurt and they can't do their job.
It just, again, here's the thing that's most baffling about it. And it's not Monday morning quarterbacking, because the three of us have talked about this incessantly for months, going back to May. You have too many players anyway. So what's the harm in somebody taking a seat for a couple of weeks when you already have too many guys? And it's just a good way to say, all right, Nolan, you're going to take a little bit of a break. Get that right. Gorman's going to play some third base because right now he's buried. And then you actually had players that could step in and do those jobs. Right?
Yeah, no, that's right. Well said. The way you broke that down. Yeah, that's one way to ease the traffic jam a little bit, right?
When someone's hurt, they go heal.
Yeah.
And it's also amazing to me, and we've talked about this, but just for our listeners that haven't heard us talk about it, that they spent this entire season like obsessed with keeping the starting pitchers healthy and managing the 6-man and the days off, and you didn't do any of that for your position players.
I mean, you didn't need to, because you got 9 million guys to play 5 positions.
Yeah, but the problem is with the position players, you played with diminished players.
Yeah, no, you're right. I was being
so how many more, this is not an exact math question, but wouldn't you guys say it's fair that if you had done the things that we're just talking about, which are common sense things, when you're hurt, you take a break, somebody else steps in, we get you back, you're more of yourself, you're closer to, if not at 100%. You probably have at least a few more wins under your belt if you did that all along, right?
Probably.
And if this
I would agree. You got 2 more wins. It's a team that's above 500 and 3 games out of a playoff spot. And our narrative is probably a little bit different.
Yeah, not much, but yeah.
A little bit.
But if you combine that, let's say you're doing that, though, in the lead up to the trade deadline. And you're now in a spot in the wild card as opposed to. Now, I'm not saying it's good. The way they went turned out, I think it's going to be better for the long term anyway. Because this team's, we've all talked about it, this team's not really one that's going to make a run. But the point is, they've been playing it like they want to be competitive. So from that perspective, their perspective, it always makes more sense to get guys healthy instead of playing short, instead of playing with a diminished player. And I find it interesting that the player now acknowledges it later. Maybe the players should all maybe think of those things in real time as opposed to months later after a worse injury came up and it knocked you out longer.
I tell you what, Wheeler's on a roll here. I feel like I mean this sincerely. I feel like I'm doing the listeners and the viewers a disservice by talking. I want Wheeler to keep going. And
well, don't wish that.
And Pauley, you're the information guy. I'm just going to sit back and enjoy the show.
Yeah. The other thing that Arenado did say that I found interesting was he talked about just how much pain he was dealing with while playing. And he said he was trying to help the team, and he felt like from a defensive standpoint, he was still doing that. He acknowledged the fact that offensively it has not been very good for him this year, but that hand positioning and overcompensating for it. He talked about a specific instance where, he hit the ball just the wrong way, and it really, really stung him. Like he was battling through pain because he thought that was the best thing to do. So back to the original point, if somebody's got to be there to say, hey, we appreciate you, but let's sit you down for a little bit.
And they're kind of doing the same thing now with Mason Wynn. And I know what Ali has said. He told us on Gas House Gang that, the doctors, the trainers, everybody said, listen, his knees bothering him, but there's nothing that he can do by playing that will make it worse. Because Ali insists he wouldn't be in there if we thought that it would lead to more damage. We would never do that. And listen, I really respect the heck out of Mason Wynn, a guy that really wants to go to the post. Yeah, I do. Yeah. I absolutely respect that. But again, no one is saying that because his knees bothering him that means you don't start him for a week. It doesn't mean that. It just means, why don't you space in a couple of days off to calm that knee down? That's all we're saying.
Yep. So here's the other interesting thing, though. I always find that fascinating when they're saying the team doctors say that you're not going to make anything worse. Well, you might not make that worse, but a finger injury led to a shoulder injury for Nolan Arenado. So, yeah, the finger didn't get worse, but something else did because you compensate. So it might not be that knee that gets worse, but maybe it's a hip. Maybe it's the other knee because it bears more than it should in your swing. I mean, like,
yep.
All right. Well, these things have been frustrating for a while. I wish we were going to solve them. And I guess the close on this maybe is hopefully the new boss, Chaim Bloom, helps change this dynamic moving forward.
I hope so.
I would like that.
Yeah, that would be fantastic.
And just a quick note to wrap up the Wynn thing. And I think we all agree we love Mason Wynn.
Yes.
But he's playing hurt and he's not hitting. In his last 22 games, he's hitting 186 and he's slugging 256. So he's not really, he's helping the team defensively,
yes.
although I think maybe it's impaired him just a little bit defensively. But there's got to be a major discussion in the offseason about how they're going to handle these things in the future.
Great point. Bernie Miklasz in the lair, Matt Pauley at the ballpark, Kevin Wheeler at the studio. We got more Redbird Rush Hour coming your way. A little bit more on the 85 celebration this weekend, the 40th anniversary of the 85 team. We got some more stuff to talk about when it comes to, today's lineup is interesting. We'll maybe dive into that a little bit coming up next. Not a criticism, by the way, because there's not many choices at this point. Just kind of illustrates where we are at this stage. We get back to the Redbird Rush Hour in just a second here on KMOX.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments, including pills, chews, and more, 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, hims.com/joy.
I love being able to tell you about my friends over at i3 Broadband. They're the internet service provider at my home. And that's one thing I just never have to worry about. This past week, we've had a bunch of issues at our house with like water and all kinds of things. And it's just terrible. It's nice to know that one of your utility type things in your house is just good. And it's always going to be good. And that's the way it is with i3 Broadband. I'm spending less money on the internet service I get right now, which is 2 gigs up, 2 gigs down. They always mirror their speeds, which is great. A lot of other internet service providers do not do that. Makes all the difference in the world. When somebody tells you you're getting 1 gig internet, you might not actually be getting 1 gig internet, but at i3, you are. You're going to get 1 gig or 2 gig or 8 gig, whatever package you might get. And they bury the line, so you don't have to worry about bad weather taking you down. And they're just a great company that's not going to try to price gouge you. You're going to get a really, really good value for what they are offering. See if they're available in your neighborhood. Put your address in, i3broadband.com. The letter I, the number 3, broadband.com. Trust me, if you get frustrated with your internet, you won't anymore if you make the switch to i3 Broadband.
Looking for a place to call home without all the maintenance? Check out the Towns of Linneman Park, new townhomes by Lombardo, located in St. Peters. These new construction townhomes are located on the south side of 36494, east of Harvester Road, and offer floor plans featuring 2 to 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, a loft, and 2-car attached garages. Community amenities include a clubhouse, pool, pickleball courts, dog park, and walking trails. Tour our newly decorated display and fall in love with your new townhome. Visit lombardohomes.com for more information.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Well, if you're headed to the ballpark, there's slow traffic out there. This traffic reports the service of the Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm. Eastbound 70, a little busy through Cypress Air Flight, but the bulk of the volume is approaching 170 all the way in through about Jennings Station. Eastbound 64 from Spady in through Big Bend. There's heavy stuff in South 170, bogs down south of Olive down to 64. Going into downtown, eastbound 70 is also slow, approaching Salisbury, backed up onto westbound 44 past the Poplar. Westbound 64 is heavy across the bridge. Westbound 64 on the Missouri side, Science Center through Big Bend's a little crowded, and 364 out to 70's bumper to bumper. Westbound Highway 70, you've got backed up traffic west of Lake St. Louis out through 61, but it's slow most of the way through David Holcomb Parkway, and eastbound 70 Wright City rest area into Wright City is backed up, and we still have Northbound jam on 55 from north of 61 up to 67 due to road work, and westbound 64 on the Illinois side, midway from Damiensville to New Baden. I'm Roger Brand at the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
At Sandberg Phoenix, we're more than just a law firm. Our attorneys are committed to you, your business, and your community. We are ready to serve you in the areas of business litigation, intellectual property, health law, and products liability. SandbergPhoenix.com. The choice of lawyers, an important decision, and should not be based solely on advertising.
This is the Redbird Rush Hour on 104.1 KMOX.
All right, it's Redbird Rush Hour. Bernie Miklasz, Matt Pauley, Kevin Wheeler hanging out with you, talking some ball. We'll move on to another thing here in a second. But, Matt, we got a text. 314-436-7900 is the way you can text us. And, of course, you can send messages via chat on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. But we got a text during the last segment about the injuries with Arenado and guys not accepting time off and things like that.
From the 636, like any of you talking heads would ever take a day off with a sore throat, Nato could play with one hand and a sore shoulder and still be twice the player Gorman will ever be. You play your best lineup, period. I'm just going to take
is there only one part? Is there only one part of the game, by the way? Because, yeah, he'd be a better defender, but Arenado hasn't hit for 2.5 years.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. That's hysterical. That's
great
stuff. So in other words, you think it's okay. Like Brendan Donovan came out and said, well, I tell you what happened with this groin injury. It's because I was overcompensating because my foot, I had a bad toe and a bad foot.
Yeah.
And so I was trying to play through it and I got hurt.
Yeah.
And now I have to shut it down. And now I'm like missing 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And so Arenado came out and said basically the same thing. Well, it's because of my finger overcompensating. I hurt my shoulder. And then I had to go out for several weeks.
Yeah.
So, but our great text message friend thinks that that's totally cool.
Yeah.
Even though both of these guys weren't hitting worth a damn because they were so hurt while trying to play.
Yeah.
And let's not.
But
forget
that's okay. That's great.
But not to bury the lead here, Bernie. Nolan Gorman has been the only player since June 1st that have put up better production than Nolan Gorman are Wilson Contreras and Alec Burleson. Right. Nolan Gorman has been your third best hitter on the team
for months
since June 1st.
Right.
Yeah.
And by the way, his defense has looked really good the last couple of weeks.
Shocking that he gets better with experience when he gets reps.
Yeah. Uncle Bernie remembers hollering about the fact that people were going nuts on him, because he was really shaky. He was
awful. Yeah.
But I kept trying to say, well, he has started 27 games in the big leagues at third base. He really hasn't played it hardly at all.
Yeah.
Can we give him some time to kind of get comfortable there?
Yeah.
Or do we want to send him to prison,
Yeah.
Because he made some errors?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just unbelievable. You just can't please people.
No.
And we haven't even.
I have friends, just real quick, and I'm sorry. I have friends, and they're otherwise reasonable people, right? They've all decided Gorman's got to go. So even when he's doing really, really well, it's like they're angry. Well, what are you, a Cardinals fan or not? I don't get it.
There's an anti-Gorman bias out there because of his number of strikeouts.
Because he strikes out. Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
I'm convinced of that.
Yeah.
The part of the Arenado story that we haven't talked about, if he's back, that's going to displace Gorman from third. Now, maybe the Cardinals luck into a situation where Donovan is out, so you're able to put him at second. He's actually going to play at first base tonight with the Contreras injury starting, and Burleson's still injured, so they're going to have to get creative at first base over the next 4 days, which that's a easier spot to be creative with. But that's if Brendan Donovan is not injured right now and Arenado's coming back, we're talking about the guy who has been the third best hitter on the team since June 1st, not having a spot.
So forgetting that part, which I think you guys nailed, that's all 100% true. Forgetting that part, back to the text. If I have a sore throat that makes me sound like crap, I'm not going to have any choice. My boss is going to tell me I'm not working.
Yeah. That happened to me earlier this year.
Yes.
I did pregame show.
Yeah.
I sounded terrible. And Tom Ackerman sent me a text message and
like,
said,
"You're done.
We got somebody else doing postgame.
Yeah.
Get off the air."
Right. Like if I come on the radio and I'm like, if I'm sounding like, if I can't talk, I'm not going to be on the radio. I won't even have the choice because the person in a position of authority will be like, dude, go home. Go home. Somebody else is going to fill in for you.
Can I jump in and make one more point about Nolan Gorman, because this is a good topic. First of all, I must have missed it. I was unaware that the Cardinals have all these incredible power hitters waiting in the wings, right? Sarcasm. But let me read you a stat, because I am stat boy, right? Since 2022, when he came up, among left-handed hitters aged 25 or younger that have 1,500 major league plate appearances, Gorman is 4th in home runs and 6th in slugging percentage. And if you want to drop the minimum to 1,000 plate appearances to have more people in there, he would still be 4th in homers and 8th in slugging percentage. But no, we got to he strikes out a little bit too much for grandpa's taste out there. Because, Stan the man would go through 5 seasons and strike out like 8 times.
Yeah, well.
This is an organization that is absolutely bereft of power. And you have really one of the better left-handed young sluggers in the majors. Oh, yeah. Get rid of that guy now.
Bernie, that is a great point. And guess what you just did, man? You just teased right into that next segment about talking about the lack of power and where you get it. So we're going to be talking some power when we come back on the Redbird Rush Hour.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan with McKelvey Homes. McKelvey is on the move with 3 new communities and prime locations opening soon. The early bird gets the worm, so get your pick of the home sites and the best prices first. Join our VIP list at McKelveyhomes.com. Strawberry Farms is located on Mexico Road, east of Highway K from the 480s. Post Farms on Highway N near Duello Road from the 540s, or the Reserve in Wildwood at Highways 109 and 100 from $560,000 to $1 million plus. It's a great time to move up to McKelvey.
Hey guys, Glover here from my good friends at Ophthalmology Associates. So my doctor is Dr. Greg Birdie, and he's my doctor and he is my friend. He is a very, very good, very thorough doctor. His longtime partner, Dr. Malhotra, Dr. Royer, Dr. Brisati, they are the doctor's doctors. Why do they call them this? Because about 250 local and regional doctors go to the doctor's doctors for their eye care. Now, are their eyes more important than yours? No, of course not. But it's a real indicator that they are legit when other doctors go to them when they could go anywhere in the world for their eye care. Whether you're there for a comprehensive exam or you're there for a surgical consultation on LASIK or cataracts, you're going to be treated with respect and professionalism every single time. Call 314-966-5000 or log on to youridoc.com. That's 314-966-5000 or youridoc.com for the fine doctors at Ophthalmology Associates and the Cornea and Laser Vision Institute. 314-966-5000 or youridoc.com.
It's Tom Ackerman. I've been talking about it for years because we've been enjoying it for years, and that is Innsbruck. Innsbruck Resort, Innsbruck-resort.com. What a place. And the home values have increased 105% in the last 5 years, so it's a great return on investment. The new Sonnenhaus houses are available this year. The modern exterior of a treehouse with cozy interior elements of a cottage. Innsbruck-resort.com.
Are you looking to hire? ZipRecruiter finds the best candidate for your job fast. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Feel like your paycheck barely keeps up with your life? At the Financial Freedom Seminar, learn how real people are building passive income and retiring early using real estate. It's all happening live in St. Louis with Lifestyles Unlimited, September 27th and 28th. You'll leave with a step-by-step plan to change your future. Text radio to 88007. That's September 27th and 28th. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007 now.
For all station contest rules, go to KMOX.com/rules.
At 5:30, this news update is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. It's a cloudy sky right now, 70 downtown at the Arch. St. Louis County Executive Sam Page's criminal trial will be moved to a new venue. Attorneys for Page and the Attorney General's office agreed to move the trial to Greene County. That's the Springfield area. Page's attorney, Matthew Redefeld, says they want to see a fair trial.
The citizens of St. Louis County who would be serving as the jurors if this matter were to stay in St. Louis County. So they would be the ones to hear the case as to whether or not Dr. Page had allegedly stolen from them.
Page is charged with felony stealing and misdemeanor election offenses for allegedly using taxpayer dollars for a partisan piece of mail to discourage voters from approving Proposition B. Governor Pritzker and state leaders say they're ready to go to court to fight a potential National Guard deployment in Chicago as soon as it happens. Chicago reporter Jeff Buchholz takes a closer look at the state's legal options.
We absolutely will go into court. That's what the governor said this week on the same day that President Trump told reporters at the White House.
Well, we're going in.
But Attorney General Kwame Raoul says that statement alone is not enough for the state to file a lawsuit before a deployment might happen.
We don't know this particular factual basis that he would be suggesting to federalize the Guard.
There are provisions in law and the Constitution that allow the president to send military troops and the National Guard into an area, but any legal action against it would have to cite the specific reason mentioned by the White House, or a judge could throw it out. That's why, as the governor says,
there's no such thing as a preemptive lawsuit.
So the state's lawyers will just have to wait and see.
Suburban Chicago State Rep Marty McLaughlin says Illinois Democrats are afraid the president's assistance could work.
I frankly could care less whether it's Donald Trump or Barack Obama in the White House. This is an idea that's beyond time.
No, before you go to the Metro East this weekend.
Well, it's NASCAR weekend at Worldwide Technology Raceway. I'm Roger Brand. You can expect restrictions and delays on 5570 around the racetrack each day from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. Southbound 203 from Bend Road down to 5570 will be shut down for only race fans, ticket holders, folks with passes, no local through traffic in that area. And at the conclusion of each day's race, there'll be restrictions on westbound 5570 past 203 to allow those folks to leave the racetrack.
2 states have issued a warning to tech companies to improve chatbot safety, especially for children and teens.
The Attorneys General of California and Delaware have sent a letter to OpenAI saying they have serious concerns about its chatbot, ChatGPT. They cited, quote, deeply troubling reports of dangerous interactions between chatbots and their users. They also noted what they called the heartbreaking death by suicide of one young Californian after he had prolonged interactions with an OpenAI chatbot, as well as a murder-suicide in Connecticut. The letter concludes safeguards in place did not work. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, Washington.
Roughly a third of Americans say money has gotten in the way of relationships and friendships.
It's everything from lending money and not getting it back to feeling pressure to keep up with friends' spending habits, all the way down to lying about your financial situation or feeling judged about it.
Lending Tree's chief consumer finance analyst Matt Scholes tells KMOX almost 70% of Americans say they've turned down a social opportunity because it was too expensive for them to afford. Forecast from Dave Murray. A few showers early tonight. They'll be mainly to the south, and then it'll turn cloudy with a low of 54. Saturday, sunshine, 77. Sunday, sunshine and 77 as well. Right now, we've got clouds. It is 70 downtown at the Arch. Feels like 66. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Mint is still $15 a month for premium wireless. And if you haven't made the switch yet, here are 15 reasons why you should. 1, it's $15 a month. 2, seriously, it's $15 a month. 3, no big contrast. 4, I use it. 5, my mom uses it. Are you playing me off? That's what's happening, right? Okay.
Visit mintmobile.com/radio. Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, $15 per month equivalent required. New customer offer first 3 months only. Then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
Here's the tale of the daily med fill. Same old pharmacy, same old bill, but those prices kept rising higher still.
Till the savings Wrangler rode in. Cool as can be. Tap Good RX. Saving massively.
No plan? Don't matter none. Up to 80% off. The deals are done.
Discounts hitting harder than Ma's chili. Dang. That one little app does all the rest.
Save time and money on prescriptions.
Check Good RX. Good RX is not insurance.
Hey, Bernie Miklasz here for Saliga Heating and Cooling. I'm always proud to represent the Saliga family. 4 generations of Saligas have been taking care of St. Louis family since 1927. I absolutely love that. I come from a family that had a business for decades, so I know what it means when your name is on the door, your name is on the sign, your name is on the truck. And I've gotten to know Dan Saliga, who is the 4th generation owner-operator of the family business. And I understand why they've been doing this for St. Louis since 1927 and why they keep building their business and making it better and better and better. It's because they're so great at what they do. we've relied in the Miklasz family on Saliga for a long time, and we know that we can count on their honesty, their knowledge, their integrity, professionalism, prompt service. They come into your home, they're classy. And as I always like to remind people, they've never, at no point ever with our dealings with Saliga, did we ever think they're trying to talk us into something we don't need, or they're trying to upsell us, or they're trying to hustle us. No, they're the exact opposite. Dan Saliga and his crew, what they do is they look for the least expensive solution first. And they won't go in and recommend something major unless you absolutely need it. And I trust their word on this. One other thing before I wrap this up, that they have the Priority Club. It's a maintenance plan for that will save you money by extending the life of your current equipment. That has definitely been the case in our home. We have saved money through the Priority Club. So make sure you check that out. Find out everything you want to find out, including the phone number, by going to SaligaHeatingandCooling.com. Thank you.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
You're listening to the Redbird Rush Hour on 104.1 KMOX.
All right, Redbird Rush Hour on a Friday. Bernie Miklasz, Matt Pauley, Kevin Wheeler. If you're on the stream, I haven't turned my camera back on now. There you go. I did. All right, so let's get into this. I didn't really mean this. The song is called Boom, Here Comes the Boom. And the Cardinals need some of that, Bernie. They need some boom. When you look at the power production, it's not just this year, but if you look at it now, 27th in baseball in slugging percentage, 28th in baseball in isolated power, which means take out the singles. They do some of the little things well. Their batting average as a team isn't terrible. It's in the top half of the league. Their batting average runner in scoring position, I think, is 11th or 12th in the league. But, man, without the juice, it's hard to be consistent.
Yeah, and they don't have athleticism, and they don't have a lot of guys who know how to steal bases. So they're at a disadvantage there. When you don't have power, you don't have speed and athleticism to make things happen. Right. You're pretty much a stagnant offense, and that's their problem. But to your answer, I'm not sure. I think it's going to come from what we're all hoping for, which is that Chaim Bloom and all the people that he's bringing in are going to do a better job of developing players, including people that have some slug. There's also a trade option, taking a chance on a younger hitter that you see having power and you're banking on his potential. The one thing I don't want to hear, Kevin and Matt, is like, well, it's Busch Stadium, Bernie. No. I've been obsessed with this for like 3 years now. The Cardinals are much better hitting at home, including power, than they are on the road, which makes absolutely no sense to me. But that's the reality, and that's the fact. So does a Joshua Baez, who seems to have figured it out, he was drafted a year after Walker, out of high school, like Walker was. He seems like he knows what he's doing now. He's a AA. He could be knocking on the door next season up in St. Louis, because his strikeout rate is low, his walk rate is high, and he's also, oh, by the way, he's got 50 stolen bases.
That's crazy. Year. And keep in mind, for people that don't know, he's like 6'3", 230.
Right. He's a big man. So and he can even play center field.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying it's unfair to Joshua Baez and say, okay, that's the guy. But they did draft him 54th overall in 2021. Mm-hmm. They loved him. That's why they drafted him. They gave him time to work it out. They knew they had to be patient. They're starting to see why they drafted him. So I think he is potentially exciting.
All right, Bernie Miklasz, Matt Pauley, Kevin Wheeler with you here. We're going to check traffic real quick and come right back and keep on talking ball as we lead up till 6 o'clock into a little bit of a sports open line that's going to be short leading into pregame tonight, but 7:15 is the first pitch. Quick check of traffic. Back to the Power Talk here on KMOX.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Well, still busy with the ball game traffic. This traffic reports a service of the Woodlands of Arnold Senior Living. If you're coming in on eastbound Highway 70, it's still slow from 170 in through Lucas Hunt downtown. You're backed up from about Adelaide almost. There's a crash in the left lane right at Salisbury, but remains backed up all the way past the Mutual Veterans Bridge onto westbound 44 past the Poplar. Eastbound 64 ball game traffic, Lindbergh all the way into Big Bend. South 170 backs up at Ladue. Westbound 64 from the 70 split across the Poplar. That's heavy for Illinois fans. Westbound 64 on the Missouri side. Science Center headed out through Clayton, Skinkers slow. And in St. Charles County, busy 364 out to 70. 70 west of Lake St. Louis Boulevard through 61's heavy. Eastbound northbound 55 still has some heavy traffic backed up north of 61 up to 67. And westbound 64 midway in from Damiensville to New Baden still jammed in the construction zone. I'm Roger Brand in the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
All right, back to the power talk here on Redbird Rush Hour. Bernie Miklasz, Matt Pauley, Kevin Wheeler with you here. And, Baez is a good one to pick up. I don't know. I don't count. We've talked about this. I don't count Weatherholt as a power hitter, but he's going to add power over some of the guys. Right. That's what I mean. But I mean, he's going to add power over what you have, right? So it'll be an increase over what you currently have. We can all get excited about Rainiel Rodriguez, but he's years away. He's only 18 years old.
Quick note on that, by the way, because somebody today, going back to Arenado, he was down in Jupiter, and a question was asked of him. He said, "Hey, did anybody really strike you of the young guys in the Palm Beach or the development of the complex league?" And he said, "Man, that Rodriguez is something." And he went on for a while and he talked about it. We know how hard Nolan Arenado works.
Yeah, he
specifically mentioned watching Rodriguez do his work and how impressive he was. So it was unprompted from Arenado today.
Yeah, that's cool. We got to give him time. He's 18 years old, but he's just been promoted to high A at 18, which is unusual. And it's also unusual for an 18-year-old to have in-game consistent home run power. So he's played 122 games as a professional. He's 18. He's got 33 doubles, 30 home runs, 100 runs batted in, and as many walks as strikeouts. That's exciting. Now, again, it's years away, but it's exciting.
And real quick story, I've been tracking him, right? So when they put him at Palm Beach and he started hitting home runs, then all of a sudden there's brushback pitches. They hit him 3 or 4 times. They're walking him, trying to get him to chase stuff, trying everything, including throwing baseballs at him to get him off the plate.
Mm-hmm.
So after he got hit, I think a couple times in one game, it's like the next time up, boom, bye-bye. In other words, like, oh, you all think that you're going to turn me into a chicken? Are you kidding me?
Love it.
How'd you like that? No, he's got something. He's got something about him too, that inner confidence that the great ones have.
Love that. So looking forward to, again, it's going to take some time, but that's another guy to dream on. And I want to throw this at you guys in this power thing, because Matt, you and I talked a bit yesterday about needing dudes, right? Let's take that out for a second because of the difficulty of developing them, paying them, finding them, trading for them, etc. Do you guys think that this team can increase its power moving forward if they stop selling out for defense at 3 or 4 spots in the lineup? Because they've made a lot of decisions in the last handful of years where we need defense. Well, it's not helping. It ain't working. It's not getting you where you want to have a defense-only center fielder and defense-only catchers and a third baseman who's become defense-only as he's gone along. Could that power jump easily next year just by changing that focus a little bit, even if it not completely, just a little bit?
Well, it should. It absolutely should. And with all due respect to like what you guys are talking about with these young guys coming up, this organization has to have a plan to get more power and get more pop and get more home runs. And it can't be just waiting on a little bit more power from JJ Weatherholt and Baez getting here and Rodriguez getting it. It's going to be really nice if guys that you develop have some power, but there's got to be a way you can't rely on that. Nothing when it comes to these prospects is guaranteed. So I don't know what the plan is for them to find power, but if they want to start winning games, they have to do it. And to your point, Kevin, the easiest way to do that is to stop being all in on defense and find some guys who are perfectly fine defenders, but can hit a home run every once in a while.
I agree with your premise, Mr. Wheeler. I really do. However, I think it's easy for us to say that, when the practicality of the situation is they don't, all right, like, for example, if you want to displace Victor Scott or play him a lot less, who in center field is going to hit for power?
I mean,
and give you defense? The answer is no one.
No, I mean, more than him, but not enough, right?
And the other thing about Victor Scott, I was looking up some things here, right? He's got a 80 weighted runs created plus. That's 20% below average. Okay, that's not good, but it is twice what he did last year.
Yeah.
Harrison Bader in 2019, and everybody was thrilled with him. He had basically the same mark.
Yeah.
He was 82. Scott's 80. So Taguchi, who was a really, really underrated player, he was about an 80 WRC plus guy, like Scott. So my point is, if this is a runway, if it is a rebuild, whatever you want to call it, with Victor Scott's stolen base ability and his incredible defense, no, you got to stay with a guy like that.
Yeah.
You got to stay with him. You can't, he's making progress, and he's really on the same path that some other guys were. And he's pretty much matching their offense. So no, I don't think it's a one size fits all thing, even though I agree with your premise.
Yeah, no, I'm with you too. I mean, I don't think Vic is necessarily the example. I guess the point is you can have a couple of those guys, but you can't have four of them, regardless of who they are.
Yeah, I agree with that. But then you're also going to have you need a manager that's going to tell a veteran no. So,
amen to that. All right, we got more coming your way. The Redbird Rush Hour. Hang tight. We'll wrap it up and get ready for a little sports open line in advance of pregame here on KMOX.
The Woodlands of Arnold campus offers skilled rehab, a beautiful assisted living community, and a secure memory care to keep your loved ones safe. Check us out at rspseniorliving.com. That's rspseniorliving.com.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
To have a roof over your head, a nice roof over your head, is very important.
That's Rick talking about his experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago, and they're very cooperative on getting us the right paint. They were in and out and done in no time. Once it was finished, looked great. We were very happy with it.
The main reason Rick called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by a 25-year transferable warranty.
We've watched a lot of people get their house painted 3 or 4 times, and we haven't had to do any of it. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to have to paint it every 5-7 years.
Take a tip from Rick and put down the paintbrush and call Rhino Shield for your free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago. Financially makes sense, especially if it's going to last like this did. Still looks great.
Call now. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
No pain, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
When we started Neovitin back in 2009, we wanted to create a multivitamin that we would take ourselves. That's why we use quality ingredients in our Neovitin Original Formula multivitamin. With over 20 vitamins and minerals, along with our physician-formulated proprietary blend, you can be sure you are getting the highest quality daily nutritional support. Give Neovitin Original Formula Multivitamin a try for yourself. Find it at your local Schnucks, Dierbergs, and online at neovitin.com.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Well, if you're traveling in on eastbound 70 for the ball game, there's still a little backup east of Natural Bridge to Hanley. It's a little slow, Bermuda, Lucas Hunt area. Downtown, there's still delays from Salisbury out onto westbound 44 past the Poplar. We had a crash in the left lane just before Salisbury. Westbound 64 still heavy 3rd Street to the Poplar. Eastbound 64, slow traffic east of Clayton Worson through the Interbelt. South 170 backs up at the Parkway. Westbound 64 from the Science Center out to McCausland's busy. Still backed up Lake St. Louis Boulevard to 70. 70 A to Z is still heavy. Eastbound 74 still into Wentzville Parkway is a little on the slow side. South 270 south of Olive to Ladue is kind of busy. Northbound 55 midway up from 61 to 67 still jammed. And on the Illinois side, we still have that backup. Westbound 64 midway in from Damiensville through New Baden. I'm Roger Brand at the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
You're listening to the Redbird Rush Hour on 1041 KMOX.
That's Redbird Rush Hour here on a Friday. I don't know why I keep saying Matt's got Sports Open Line. There's no Sports Open Line. It's just going right into pregame. I'm bad at math. I was texting with Matt just as I was texting. Wait a minute. Do you even have Sports Open Line? He's like, I don't have Sports Open Line. So 6:15 is when we get into pregame coverage. 6:20 is the official start. 7:15 is the first pitch tonight. And we haven't done this yet today, but I think it's probably a good idea to close with this, guys. There's this weekend being the 40th anniversary celebration for the 1985 team. So cool to see so many of the guys back in town for this weekend. We talked to Ricky Horton on DGS earlier today, and he's been enjoying it and loving it and getting back to one of his, getting back with his teammates. And Bernie, we talked a bit about this. I did with Ricky that was, whether they won the World Series or not, that was one of the handful of the best baseball teams in Cardinals franchise history.
It was. And I focused on something specifically, the three teams that won the pennant in the 80s, 82, 85, 87. This by far was the best of those teams because, first of all, they stole 314 bases. No other Cardinals team that decade stole more than 262. They had the number one rated offense. If you go by Fangraph stuff, their offense was better than the other two offenses. Their starting pitching was better than the 82 and the 87 team. Their bullpen was Whitey had to do some extra managing there, but he got the bullpen put together too. But for its all-around play and being a complete team, because they had the Jack Clark factor, which was huge, that 85 team was the best of those teams in the 80s. And the fact that they didn't win the World Series in 85 because of a bad call and some other things, that doesn't change my opinion that they were the best team of those Cardinals teams.
Yeah, everybody feels like, not everybody, some people talk about 2004, but it's the most general consensus is the 85 Cardinals are the best Cardinals team that did not win a World Series. And you mentioned, like, you just bring up like the baseball reference page for that, and you see Vince Coleman, 110 stolen bases. Like, what? Like, you try to apply that to today's standards, and you just can't.
Yeah, it's funny, Bernie, you mentioned the bullpen, and we were talking to Ricky about that, and Ricky led that bullpen in innings pitched. He threw 89 innings that year, but all the other guys just threw normal bullpen workloads, like 60, 65 innings. And that was only a 5 or 6 man bullpen most of the year. And then you look at John Tudor with 275 innings and Joaquin Andujar with 260. And then Danny Coxey's were like 230 or 240. They had 800 innings with those three starters.
Unreal. And the thing, I think I mentioned this on the Dave Glover show today, but in the decade of the 80s, those Whitey Herzog teams stole 2,045 bases. And now, but here's the kicker. I checked it out decade by decade. That was the most stolen bases by a team in a decade, starting at 1900. No one has come close to topping that since then. So we saw something truly unique.
Yeah.
And that was cool.
That's what I loved about it. And we don't have a lot of time. Maybe we can get into this during the off season. We have a little more time. We only got a minute now, but it's one of the things I liked about the 80s was that there were different styles of play. Yeah. And now it's basically the same style pretty much across the board. We understand because people have studied efficiency and all that, but you had Harvey's wall bangers, you had Billy Ball, you had Whitey Ball, you had Sparky Ball, you had all these different guys that, and you had, I mean, your guy, Bernie, Earl Weaver he was more the modern manager than anybody.
He was, and he was gone after 82. But what he did in the 70s was masterwork.
Oh my God.
It really was.
Yeah.
And I was thinking to you, Wheeler, the other day, I know we got to go, but you know how all the old people get all bent out of shape about analytics. Earl Weaver didn't call it analytics, but when he got some players that he thought had some power, he would say, dude, you want to make more money and you got to hit home runs and you can do it. You got to uppercut. So, see, in other words, if you tell some of the old timers it's an uppercut rather than launch angle, maybe they'll get it that this is nothing fancy. It's
You're
pretty
right.
basic common sense.
We've been arguing about terminology and not actually the thing that's being discussed for all these years. Bernie, have a great weekend. Matt, have a great weekend. Enjoy tonight. And I wish all the best to you having a short game. Let's have a quick one for tonight for Matt Pauley. Everybody have a great weekend. Cardinals baseball coming up.